Slick 50 Formula Ford Zetec Championship, and it really is a championship which many people want to win.
This year we're trying some slightly different tactics to bag some more points early on in the championship, but it's more of a victory as possible, depending on the rest.
Craig Murray then pitting himself against the rest of the Formula Ford field. Another who does the same is Nicholas Chiesa, fourth in the championship last year.
I'm in a bit better position for winning the championship this year. The cars is a bit more, what should I say, up to date than the car I drove last year, and this is the car that I was struggling to beat.
Denmark's Chiesa. Another from overseas is Dutchman Ricardo van der Ende with the coveted Works Van Diemen drive.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of potential in this team. They're trying very hard. Obviously, we've got a totally new car when you compare to last year's. So we've got a lot to learn, but we will, no problem.
So Ricardo van der Ende then on a steep learning curve at just 19 years of age. Scotsman Barry Horn is also in the championship. We spoke to him earlier.
I'm sure that we can start winning races this year. Like last year, moving from my dad's team, now we're with Andy Welsh Racing, who's got a really strong background, and I'm sure we can win races, which is the main idea.
So Barry Horn with his eyes firmly set on the podium. So too Joanna Clark from Warrington, who steps up from karting. She started racing in 1991.
I believe it's going to be a tough season this year, but there's no reason why we can't go out there and win. That's what I'm here for. I believe we've got a really good chance. Unfortunately, we started off on a very bad note from official testing to today, but I believe the race day could be, it could go really well. I'm really pleased. We sorted the car out, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, qualifying proved how close and competitive the Slick 50 Formula Ford Zetec Championship will be in 1999. 15 cars, would you believe, all qualified within 1 second of each other. Ambrose and Chiesa it is who occupy the front row, Shanahan and Murray occupying third and fourth, and then back on the third row, Ricardo van der Ende with James Courtney alongside him in the Van Diemen. Frank Diefenbacher and Tom Sisley make up the next row, while behind them in the number 2 car is Jeffrey Jones with Barry Horn the Scot alongside him. Jesper Karlsson and Robert Dahlgren are next up, and back in 13th spot, Peter Gray with Tom Herridge in the Ray on the outside of him. Greg Caton and Mark Fullerlove are the next 2 through, followed by Mark Taylor and Matthew Gilmore. Ricardo Megre, the Portuguese, is alongside Daniel Hazelwood. Behind them, Sharp and Cat and Erlandson and Smith. Gavin Hardy is next up alongside the Royal South African Alan van der Merwe with Neil Fowler, Ewan Merritt, Mike Harfield, Duke Coupland, Tom Potter and Joanna Clark making up the remaining places on the grid. Well, we're about to get underway. The engine note rising there on the pole position. Remember, Marcus Ambrose, he needs to get a good clean breakaway. They all get a good start, in fact, couple dropping back in the order. But the Ray of Ambrose gets the start he wanted, but he's got a challenge on the outside of him. The Danishman, Nicholas Chiesa, trying to go round the outside of the Australian Ambrose. Everybody, miraculously, all 32 cars through Redgate and round into Hollywood, the scene of the stars, and who will be the stars to rise into Formula One from this gaggle of cars plummeting down the very awesome looking Craner curves and scampering their way through the old hairpin. Well, Ambrose got the start he wanted. He kept Chiesa behind him. Neil Shanahan made a good start, so too did Craig Murray, but here they come into McLean's for the first time of asking, and it is Marcus Ambrose who leads them through. Everybody line astern, good tight line, run out to the left-hand side of the circuit, bit of sideway motoring there further back in the pack. But a miraculously good clean start for those lead 2. Also making a good start was Ricardo van der Ende. He started and maintains his 5th position as they come onto the straight and make their way down into one of the key braking areas and key overtaking areas too, because we've got a new leader, have we? Surely, yes. The pylons being scattered hither and thither as the cars take to the curbs, but Marcus Ambrose loses his lead to Nicholas Chiesa. Chiesa opting to go the long way round the S's, and it paid off handsomely for him. Oh, a spinner there is Mike Harfield. So Harfield will rejoin at the back of the field. Everybody else scampering their way through Hollywood and down onto the Craner curves. And really 2 key overtaking places here on the Donington Park National Circuit. This is one of them. If you can get down the inside at the old hairpin, you've got to be very brave and very courageous. And there, Chiesa, our leader, runs wide, and that has allowed Shanahan, Neil Shanahan in the white car there, gets the inside of Marcus Ambrose. So it's a three-way battle for the lead in this Formula Ford Zetec Championship race, the round opener of this championship. And, well, how on earth Nicholas Chiesa managed to hang on there to that lead when he was under major attack from Neil Shanahan. Shanahan, though, is through into second place. That demotes Ambrose down into third place. And Shanahan this time challenging for the lead. He's got the inside line on Nicholas Chiesa, and behind, look at Ambrose and also Craig Murray involved in that for second and third. Make that third and fourth places. Here's the leader, it's a new leader. Neil Shanahan gets through beyond Nicholas Chiesa, so Shanahan will lead as they cross the line this time. Chiesa now demoted back to second. Will everybody else make it safely through the S's? They're all absolutely battling like fury for those positions, because this could, of course, be the start of a very long climb up the ladder of success to Formula One. That's where they're all aiming for, not more so than Neil Shanahan, the Irishman in his Van Diemen, who leads them down the hill. Further back, they're also squabbling over all of those positions, but it's the white car of Neil Shanahan that leads Nicholas Chiesa through. Look at the battle, though, for third place. Ambrose trying to hold off the attentions of Craig Murray, and Murray looking to try... Oh, and a big moment there! A huge impact for the 23 car of Gary Catt. Well, that just shows you how strong these cars are. Catt is out of the car. Shanahan will be oblivious to what's going on behind him. Craig Murray is absolutely furiously trying to get past Marcus Ambrose, and the marshals go to the assistance of Catt. Well, that's the end of that chassis, I think. Well, it's amazing what they can do these days. Shanahan, though, and Chiesa still battling out. So too for fifth and sixth places. Look at Ricardo van der Ende. I think James Courtney with him there. No, it's not. In fact, it is Frank Diffenbacher, the German, in the Miguel. So here they come. Take a tight line out and it can get you some momentum onto the main straight. That's what Shanahan did. And under pressure this time from Chiesa. I have to say, Marcus Ambrose had a look down the inside there as well. Marcus, who is Tasmanian in origin, bases himself in Bedford now, was fifth in this championship last year with the one win. He's got a lot to do, though. He's lying in third place at the moment behind Shanahan and Chiesa. And Chiesa, who is another from foreign climes, who bases himself in Hemel Hempstead, was fourth in the championship last year. He also took one victory, and you might recall he was third in the Formula Ford Festival too. There is Marius Erlendsson, the Norwegian, spinning out at exactly the same point as Gary Catt, but we're back with the leaders. Neil Shanahan brings them through. Chiesa in second place, then Ambrose, then Craig Murray. Bit of a gap back, about 2 car lengths to Ricardo van der Ende. And just watch as they come onto the straight, the car's swooping left and right. The idea is that you don't want the man behind you to be able to draft. That is to use the hole in the air that you're punching to go quicker, and that can happen. That is exactly what Marcus Ambrose has had done to him, because Craig Murray is the new third place man. So the race order now, Shanahan leading, Chiesa there in the red car is second, and Craig Murray to the inside at Redgate. Oh, he legally left it a bit late. Yellow flags are flying because of cars in the gravel trap, so they must not overtake at that point. And further back in the field, they're absolutely trying to dominate each other, but without much success. Neil Shanahan, meanwhile, is really flying like Pegasus the horse. He has got the bit between his teeth and he's trying to break them away, but of course behind him they now start working together. If Chiesa and Craig Murray, 4 and 3 there, the red and the white car, can work together, they can reel in the leader. If they try to battle it out, then, well, I'll promise you, Neil Shanahan will just drive away into the countryside. At the moment, there's not much going on other than the... Oh, we got one on the grass, and that is Ambrose trying to defend furiously from Frank Diffenbacher. Well, Diffenbacher was pushed there onto the grass coming out of Coppice, and I wonder if Marcus Ambrose has got a handling problem there. Perhaps the car isn't handling to his liking because they are swarming around him, and Frank Diffenbacher is trying to get through. So too, here is Craig Murray, and Murray will go through. Brilliant manoeuvre. Classic Formula Ford manoeuvre there from Craig Murray. He's now up into second. So it's Ireland leads Scotland, leads Denmark. Those are the top 3. Shanahan, Murray and Chiesa. Chiesa will need to watch his mirrors because Ricardo van der Ende, the Dutchman, is also there lurking ominously in that Works Van Diemen. Ambrose there, Diffenbacher, and Diffenbacher under a little bit of pressure too from Barry Horn, who's made stonking progress. Horn started 10th on the grid and he's through now just behind Diefenbacher. Diefenbacher runs wide and that will allow Barry Horn to come through, will it not? Well, Horn tried to go around the outside at Starkey's Bridge. We've got them all on the grass at the old hairpin. Classic Formula Ford. It's all about entertainment as well as clean, hard racing. Oh, that's not clean, hard racing. That's a clean, hard smack in the mouth for Ryan Sharp. Let's hope he's okay. Well, again, testimony to the strength of the cars. Ryan Sharp's Miguel is handing up well, and no, that's going to be a front damaged left corner for Frank Diefenbacher. So the German is out and well and truly in the gravel. Here's the leaders. Shanahan in the front white car. The white car with the side pods. The number 3 machine there is that of Craig Murray, the Scotsman. Behind him in 3rd place is the Dane, Nicholas Chiesa. And then Ricardo van der Ende making up 4th place. The marshals give a hand to Ryan Sharp, to Frank Diefenbacher. And meanwhile, Craig Murray tries to lurk up the inside. Marcus Ambrose seems to have sorted out his problem, or rather suspected problem of handling or mishandling of that car, but he's running alone at the moment, while further back they're all squabbling. And here at the old hairpin, Neil Shanahan runs wide, and look how that's brought them absolutely nose to tail, the front 3 in their Zetec engine Formula Fords. Shanahan, Murray and Chiesa. Oh, this is a recipe for excitement or drama, or probably great big helpings of both. And look how just in that couple of corners Ricardo van der Ende has closed up, so we've now got a quartet fighting it out for the lead through Coppice. Who is your money on, I wonder? Well, Shanahan and Murray have looked strongest. Murray in particular has been brilliant in the traffic. So too Barry Ambrose, who is continuing to rise up through the places. They all spread out at the S's. Oh, and will there be room for all of them? Shanahan leans over to the right-hand side as he sneaks through the S's. A little bit of curb taken there by 2nd place Murray. No change in the order though, but the lead too got through quicker, and that's because Ricardo van der Ende has got beyond Nicholas Chiesa. Chiesa fights back to the inside. Oh, it's all harem-scarum stuff. And has Chiesa got through? No, he hasn't. So Ricardo van der Ende holds on to that 3rd place. Meantime, in the 12 car there, Tom Sisley in the Ray. Well, Sisley wants to put in some strong performances. This time we've got a spinner, and it is Ricardo van der Ende. The Works Van Diemen driver is on the grass. He's losing places hand over fist as they fly by him, but he did well to keep it out the gravel. But that is going to drop him way down the order. And in fact, back to the middle of the pack. Here is Barry Horn. Brilliant style from him. Just picks up another place. And 3rd and 4th go through. Barry Horn now, remember, started 10th, now in 5th place. Behind him in the 9 car, James Courtney, another Antipodean, and they are going to lock wheels. Oh, that was a recipe for disaster. We don't see it very often in Formula Ford Zetec these days, but the open-wheeled nature of these cars, as yellow flags fly, they're all trying to find their line and their position. The wheels interlocking there between Courtney and Horn. In fact, let's just take another look at that. Here is Barry Horn in the blue car on the outside, drifts across, or, well, you may say James Courtney moved across. I'll leave you to make your own minds up. Whatever, it puts them both out of the race pretty much as far as top positions are concerned. And that advertising hoarding didn't come off too well either. James Courtney then slithering on the grass into retirement, and I'm sure we'll see the same. Well, there is the advertising hoarding being soundly removed by the marshal. Oh, we've got dramas in the gravel again. Well, this time it's the 29 car of Peter Gray in his Van Diemen who is in the gravel trap, and here is the battle for the lead. Craig Murray to the inside. Big drama at the S's, and Murray will go through, will he? Oh, and Shanahan is having to take to the grass to the infield. Brilliant manoeuvre by Craig Murray. He really has looked a class act in the traffic here. And look what's happening behind. Marcus Ambrose is now back on terms with Nicholas Chiesa. So the order now, Murray leads, Shanahan 2nd, 3rd is Chiesa, but for how much longer? Because he's got Marcus Ambrose in the Ray right behind him. And in the wheel tracks, Chiesa will try and defend as hard as he can, but that will allow 2nd place man ahead of him, Neil Shanahan, to get away. And Ambrose on the brakes momentarily later than Chiesa, it looked to me that time, out of the old hairpin and through the left-hand kink that cuts up underneath Starkey's Bridge. Schwantz curve and McLean's await. And can Ambrose get to the inside? Remember, it's Chiesa in red, Ambrose in blue. Well, they have actually managed to maintain close quarter with second place Neil Shanahan, but look at Craig Murray. Absolutely driving away. And a big sideways moment there for Neil Shanahan, and Shanahan runs wide. That will drop him back into the clutches of Chiesa. Chiesa goes to the outside. Shanahan a problem there. He just sorted it out in time. But now another new second place man, and Barry Ambrose will go through too. He tries to put the pressure on Shanahan to the inside. They all lock up. Shanahan will try and maintain his position, and he does, but just about, holding off Marcus Ambrose. Cracking stuff, isn't it? They complete another lap. Well, down in the pit lane, Tom Herridge, well, looks to have come to terms with his retirement, but out front, Neil Shanahan is still feeling monumental pressure from Marcus Ambrose. I have to say, though, Craig Murray is driving away with this at the moment, but there's still time for them to close in. Again, it's all about getting them to work together at the moment. These two just hammer and tongs at it. Shanahan in the white car, Ambrose behind him. Neil Shanahan, incidentally, who was the Formula Ford of Ireland Irish Championship winner. 6 wins he took last year, so he's no slouch at all, isn't Neil Shanahan. And Marcus Ambrose, by comparison behind him, remember, well, not only does he know how to compete in this championship, 5th last year, remember, but he was also a semi-final winner in the Formula Ford Festival. Leaders back towards us then. Craig Murray still ahead of Nicholas Chiesa. And down onto the main straight. Murray ahead, Chiesa second, and swooping to protect his position as the leader locks up his wheels. Further back, they're also squabbling out well. The 17 car there is that of Jesper Karlsson, another from Denmark. And at the moment, he's got his hands full because about to go under challenge. Oh, he mustn't close the door there. He's going to lose a position on the inside. And slotting through goes Mark Fullerlove. So Fullerlove picks up a place, and they complete yet another lap. Good scrap this in the middle order of the field. Fullerlove there in 14. Behind him in 17 is Jesper Karlsson, who campaigns the Vector, and Karlsson goes through. So Fullerlove took the place at the S's, but Karlsson almost repaid him straight away and put the Vector round and about the Van Diemen of Fullerlove. They're still squabbling, though, down through the Craner curves. Need to be on the brakes, turn in, don't run out too far wide. There is quite a bit of area there. You'll quite often see dust kicked up. I'll tell you what, also lurking in the background there is Ricardo Megre, the Portuguese driver. And if anything should happen between these two, Megre is well placed to pick up all of the pieces. Now, do I see rain spots? I'm sure we're getting little spits and spats of rain out at the far side of the circuit. At the moment, it's not going to cause too many dramas from these drivers. They do, of course, all run on the same Avon tyre. It's a slick racing tyre, and swapping places again. Fullerlove this time trying to get back on terms with Jesper Karlsson. And they reel off another lap. Yellow flags down at Redgate because of that stationary vehicle just parked. So they can't... in fact, we've got another in the gravel, and that looks to me like the end of a busy day for Greg Caton. We're back, though, with our leaders. Craig Murray stroking the car around very smoothly. The Miguel Ambrose there in 3rd. There is Craig Murray. Really has done exceptionally well. Remember, we said before, he was 6th in the championship last year, and previous to that, in 1997, finished 10th, and this year really is all about a championship for him. That's what he is desperately keen to secure, and he might just do so if he can take the victory here today on his way towards the line. Brings it across, still lappery to be completed though by Craig Murray, and second place Chiesa trying from his lap times to get back on terms with him. These two are still at it, Marcus Ambrose and Neil Shanahan. Shanahan down to 4th now, but going to the inside. Oh, they must be careful, and Shanahan ran out of room. Well, he raises a fist, but really there was no way through there. Marcus Ambrose just keeping himself on the racing line, but looks a bit out of shape down through the Craner curves into the braking area. Turn right. Again, just kick up a little bit of dust on the exit. And Marcus Ambrose, well, he's now put what would be in Formula Ford Zetec terms a fairly healthy lead between himself and the 4th place man. There is Chiesa. Well, Neil Shanahan has tried all sorts of manoeuvres to get past Marcus Ambrose. And he might just be able to do it now. He drafts behind Ambrose and he pulls out and he's going to go around the outside. Is he? Or Marcus Ambrose is earlier on the brake. Shanahan goes through, but will he run across the grass? Yes, he will. Well, will that deem to be gaining an advantage, I wonder? Well, not probably, because Marcus Ambrose will drive around the outside of him and say, thank you very much, there's my third place back. Well, Marcus Ambrose, the cuter of the two by far there, recognising that Neil Shanahan was careering into the S's far too quickly to be able to maintain that position. But you have to admire the determination of Shanahan, so too the leader, Craig Murray. Well, huge crowd here at Donington have enjoyed a great spectacle in this Slick 50 Formula Ford Zetec Championship season opener. And if the rest of the races are to be half as good as this, it's going to be a thrilling championship, of that there's no doubt. Craig Murray then seems to have disposed very nicely, thank you, of Nicholas Chiesa. Craig Murray started his driving career at the tender age of just 13 years old as a Scottish junior karting champion in 1990. Lives up in Glasgow and certainly has found the Hayward Racing Mygale to his liking. Through the S's he comes, and on his way to what is sure to be a famous victory for Craig Murray. The checkered flag is waved in celebration of Craig Murray's first win of how many, we wonder, in 1999. Nicholas Chiesa hangs on, looked to have settled for second place, to be fair, and a very handsome reward will be the points that he gets towards his championship. Well, absolutely stunning stuff from the Formula Ford Zetec. They're still battling out for places. Jesper Karlsson still trying to get ahead of Mark Fullerlove and has done so at the flag. He will finish ahead of Fullerlove. Those two had a great old ding-dong, didn't they? Well, not a happy time for Marius Erlendsson, the Norwegian. Car being wheeled away, but great celebration for Craig Murray, sharing his joy with Nicholas Chiesa. And, well, everybody very, very happy indeed down there in the pit lane, and not surprising after that 1-2 for the Hayward Racing duo. Craig Murray taking the victory and his teammate Nicholas Chiesa coming home in second place. James Courtney's car being wheeled away after that coming together with Barry Horn. And meanwhile, the presentation's about to get underway down on the rostrum, and there is the garland of honour and the champagne that goes to Scotland's Craig Murray. Terrific performance from him, and also great news for the Hayward Racing team, as we say. Well, there is confirmation of the results of round one. That great win for Craig Murray. Nicholas Chiesa picks up points, valuable points they may well be too, for that second position, while Marcus Ambrose comes home third.
It's a shame we had pole position for today's race, but points in the championship is always good, so third's not too bad. He had a little trouble with the engine this afternoon, so we were looking pretty good there for a while, but the last 10 laps I was really struggling just to stay in third, so I'm happy with the result today.
Another happy with his result was Tom Sisley, who picked up the Junior Cup Award. Let's go back to the podium and hear from the second place man.
It was quite frantic. Cars all over the track at one point, and I was trying to defend my position and as well trying to overtake the first guy. It's quite difficult doing both, but I think a bit of luck is allowed as well, and it all bottled out for me in the end.
Did work out very well for Daniel Hazelwood too, who picked up the award for the first division. Well, great celebrations on the podium. There's that usual waste of champagne. They'll all need a shower. Let's just check out, though, the championship positions at the end of this first round of the Formula Ford Zetec Championship. Craig Murray, then, atop of the points table, picks up an extra point for the fastest lap too, as does Marcus Ambrose for getting pole position. Let's hear, though, from the winner.
Marvellous start to the season there, Craig.
Yeah, it really started the way I wanted it to. Another win again the first round of a championship. I don't know if it's a jinx or not, but hopefully it's not for this year.
You came from some way back to do that as well, though.
Yeah, I felt really happy with the car. Everything was working really well, and when I was in the lead, it felt really comfortable.
And did Nick Chiesa cause any problems when you were overtaking?
No, we have quite a good rapport together, and we usually work well together, so if I can benefit him in the future and he can benefit me, it'll work that way.
And what's the plan for the rest of the season now?
Just really to finish consistently, get a lot of podiums and hopefully some more wins, which I think is more than possible. The car's really good.
Well, the car is really good, so too is Craig Murray, and he deserved that hard-fought-for victory. Well, the teams all now head to Silverstone for round 2.